I don't know. What do you think about this?
I think it looks pretty solid based off of right now.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I would drive very quickly, you know.
Goodbye, camera.
Hello everyone, welcome to another video. My name is Mario So, and in today's video, I want to go over the behind the scenes of how I planned and created this car commercial. But before we get started, if you're new here, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already for other content similar to this video. And if you're already subscribed, thank you again so much for being here yet again. Before I talk about my process on how all of this was created, let's first watch the end result right now. So I hope you enjoyed that spec commercial that you just saw. It was definitely very fun to make. So there are a few things that I want to talk to you about so that you can also go ahead and create your own spec commercial. Doing passion projects like these ones with friends or people you know are going to not only help you get better at your craft, but also inspire you to create even more once you see the end result. And hopefully adding more quality content to your portfolio when you start to seek for more clients down the road. So when I started to plan for this video, I started to watch car commercials and videos of cars just to get inspiration and screen grabs from Google. And I created a little mood board or storyboard with all the shots that I knew that I wanted to get or the style of shots that I was looking for. I used the free version of Milanote to do my pre-production planning, not sponsored by them by any means, but Milanote, if you're watching, having ideas of shots that I wanted to get really helped me save time during production days because I was not guessing and I had a clearer idea of what I wanted to get. I was not wasting everyone's time. I knew I wanted to shoot this at different locations and I knew that I did not want any other cars to be on the road or at the location that I was shooting at. So I went on Google Maps and Google Earth to look for a parking garage, especially one that had a rooftop and one that would be empty the day that I would be shooting at. The key to this was to shoot this not during the weekday, during work hours where a lot of cars would be parked, but to shoot during the weekend. We chose to do it on a Saturday evening. The other location was in an open road at a location that I had gone to before that I knew that was fairly empty pretty much 90% or 95% of the time. And there was this opening on the side of the road that I knew would fit perfectly for a shot that I had in mind. I used the Sony a7 III and I used two Tamron lenses, the 17-28 f2.8 and the 28-75 f2.8 as well. I used the Moment Cinebloom filter and also the blue flare effects by Prism Lens Effects. And as usual, I'll be linking all the gear that I use on this video in the description below if you want to check it out. In terms of stabilizers, I used a tripod, I went handheld for some shots, and I also used a gimbal. For the first location, the one in the parking lot, I used the Xeon Crane 2. And when we shot at the second location in the open road, I actually had just gotten my Weebill 2. So I used my Weebill 2 for the shots in that location. For the drone, I used the Mavic Pro 2. In terms of lighting, I only used one light. It's a Yongnuo 360 version 2, I believe. It's a tube light. And I used that light for some of the interior car shots in the parking garage because it was a little dark inside the car. And I also used it to add some blue to some of the shots, especially when I was getting a close-up of that wheel in the beginning of the video. I have a flare effects filter here. It's going to give me the nice anamorphic lens flares because we don't have an anamorphic lens because they're really expensive unless you get the Zero lenses. And I have it coupled with a Moment diffusion filter. It's a Cinebloom 10% just to cut down on that sharpness of the lens so that we get a little bit more of a cinematic vibe and feel to it. I'm going to spray some atmospheric haze just in front of the car and we're gonna get the lights to turn on. And thanks again, we have Daniel right here shooting the BTS. Give him some love. And Ricardo over here with a nice car, the S2000. Looks good. You ready? Go. We'll do one where you're just driving straight.
Okay.
And I'm just running here in this lane.
Okay.
I'm going to try to keep up with the car, but I'm so out of shape, so probably can't do it. So I'm shooting in lock mode on the gimbal. So no matter how I move this, the gimbal is going to keep pointing in that direction. So what we're doing with this is I want the wheel to end right on the frame, but because that's a lot harder to do, I'm reversing it. So just frame it first, reverse it so it looks like it's coming and stopping right at that frame. So. Some shots are going to be with the gimbal and mostly just to set the scene and the road as well as we're following the car. But a lot of the stuff inside is going to be shaky because you know you're a car and driving and everything to give you that vibe and that feel. Right now we're going to get a cool shot. We're going to mount my A7 III on this, and it says up to what, 8 pounds? My A7 III and camera lens combined is probably like 3 pounds, so we should be good. And if it's not good, then you'll probably see that. So let's hope that it works. And it says as long as your surface is clean, it says that it should stick, but I'll just wipe it down a little
I have a GoPro too.
That would be the main camera of this race. And we're not gonna be driving on the highway with this, so I think we should be okay. Yeah, it seems pretty solid. I don't know, what do you think about this?
I think it looks pretty solid based off of it right now.
Yeah?
But I don't know if I would drive very quickly, you know?
Goodbye, camera.
It survived, guys. So this thing works. I can recommend it now. I'm not going to film Ricardo stepping on the clutch and on the accelerator as he's driving like for real, so we're going to fake that, and that way I can also shoot from over here, get more light in there, and I don't have to let it inside because it's really dark down there too. So just a little trick. On Sony cameras, you get clear image zoom. So I'm on a 75 here, but I want a little bit more of a zoom, so I just enable it here and zoom in up to 2 times, or 1.5 if I'm shooting in 4K. So I'm gonna zoom in up to 1.5.
We're gonna be like Fast and Furious, infinite gear changes.
That's the only Honda sign in the entire car, I think.
It is.
Right?
It is.
So what's gonna happen with this shot, it's static, but we can add some shake and some camera shake later in post. So it's just easier to get all of these shots in here right now. So we're gonna use a GoPro just for 2 shots in this video, hopefully. And that's going to be one of the transition shots. So the car is just going to drive towards the GoPro, and on the second location, the car is going to be driving away from the GoPro. It's a Hero 8 Black. I have a bunch of settings that I use. I want to get cinematic video, or at least give me a little bit more flexibility to color correct this later in post. So I'll link you up to a video that I did on the exact settings you can use for this GoPro to get cinematic footage. Last shot is just going to be that car by itself over here with the sun in the background. For the drone shots, I wanted to get open roads and I wanted to find a proper location where I could take off from. So again, I went on to Google Earth and I found this location that was really neat and it looked really good when I was looking at it from Google Earth. And the key to this shot as well is that it was a quieter road, so there wouldn't be too many cars on the road. For this shot, I had the driver of the car share with us his WhatsApp location over GPS, so we knew exactly where he was. And once he was approaching the exact spot I wanted him to be, he will let us know, and I'll be on standby with the drone. And we were also on speakerphone with him so that we knew exactly what was going on every step of the way.
There's a lot of traffic coming this way.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I'm gonna just pull ahead and see if I can find like a gap.
For this particular drone shot that we got, there was actually another car behind the S2000 that was tailgating the car. It pretty much got into the shot. Originally, I wanted to do that shot again, but then it would have taken more time for Ricardo to come around that road and redo it. So what I decided to do is just keep it and take other shots as backups. Later on in After Effects, I realized that I could actually remove that car using content-aware fill, and it was a very simple process to remove it. And if I haven't told you, you probably would have never known there was a car behind. Go for it. I'm using the free version of Milanote, and just to go over some of the shots that I have prepared. We're gonna hop into the car, Jesse drive the car, then he's gonna do the behind the scenes, and then we're just gonna follow Rick. And at my prompt, he's going to overtake the car we're in so that we get that cool shot of the car coming this way and speeding forward. My first time using the Weeble 2. So far, I'm very impressed. The shots I'm getting are actually quite stable compared to the Crane 2, which is the gimbal that I used for our first shoot when we were at the parking lot, and I was sitting on the trunk of the other car, and it has a flip out screen. During planning the shoot, I had come to this spot in the past, and I knew that I wanted to come here and for sunset as opposed to sunrise, because the sunset's in the west and there's this opening right here, so we can get that really cool shot with the sun setting and the car parked here as opposed to sunrise, because it doesn't look pretty over there. For this transition shot, I just did a slow push in into the muffler, and I used stock footage to composite that shot with some dust, with some smoke. And that was just to show that transition from inside the muffler through all the smoke. That would eventually become the clouds and into that drone shot.
Like and subscribe. Like, thumbs up, and subscribe, sorry.
So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. If you have not subscribed already, your support would be greatly appreciated. That is all for today, and if you're still watching, here are a couple of videos you could watch next. And I'll see you next time.